Changing. With that, join me in speaking to who we are. Would you like to do that? We say this every week, and I love that this has been part of our tradition here at Namasté. So speak this with me. I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. Stop. I know. I just want to make sure that you take that pause, that there's this place in you in which the entire universe dwells. Just in that moment, because today it's all about action, so we want to make sure that we're intentional in our actions. So let us continue. I honor the place in you which is love, truth, light, and peace. When you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, we recognize that we are one. Namaste. Now, a word of caution for those of you that are settling so beautifully into those quilts. As you nod off, you might find me sitting next to you. Probably not, I've got work to do. But I just thought I would be funny about it. So with that, also let's do this. When you walked in today, you received or would have been offered a prayer card. So that prayer card that's been offered to you, when you fill it out and you drop it off in the box in the back, our practitioners hold that prayer in their spiritual practice all week. So thank you for doing that. I'd like to make a quick presentation. So I'm going to switch mics. Going over to this one. Let's see if it works. Yes, anything? Yes? Yes? Can't hear myself. I brought the fly from last week, yes. Anything? I'm going to come back here. Oh, wait, there it is. I hear something. Yes? Turn it up a little bit. One or two of you might not like what I'm about to do just because it's so spontaneous. So I'd like Jackie and Debbie Ann to come up here. So you know that they just finished practitioner training in the summer, and they're already immersed. Up a little bit higher, my friend, just a little bit more. And so there it is, perfect. So in doing so, there's something that we always receive, whether it's being a new practitioner or being a new minister, there's something that comes in the mail and kind of makes it all official. And that's what this is. This is their Practitioner of Religious Science certificate, which is part of their license. So Debbie Ann Vokes. Wait. You guys are way too quick. I love you, though. And this is Jacqueline Williams Pearson.
It says, "Dear new practitioner, congratulations. You now have the privilege of joining a respected and beloved group of people known as Centers for Spiritual Living Licensed Practitioners. Thank you for your willingness to serve not just your community, not just Centers for Spiritual Living, but the expansion of consciousness everywhere." Wow. We are knowing that the heart of a practitioner lives through and as you, and you will be compassionate, kind, and gentle with all who come to you for prayer or a listening ear. Your work is needed in the world today. Know that you are surrounded by people who will hold you in prayer, and remember that Spirit is always your partner. Infinite Spirit never fails when we stay in touch. Pray, meditate, practice, and accept the blessings of being a practitioner with great joy. Do great things with great love and care. Reverend Barbara Bew, Director, Field Services Department. The power of the universe is with you. Feel it, know it, and then act as though it were true. Ernest Holmes.
Now read the front. The entire thing. Starting with up there.
Okay. Be it known through its leadership council by virtue of the authority in it vested, has authorized and hereby grants the recognition of practitioner of religious science to Debbie M. Vokes and Jacqueline Williams Pearson, with all honors, privileges, and obligations thereto appertaining. This recognition is made at Golden, Colorado, and is in full force and effect on the first day of August 2022.
Thank you. Let me give you a hug. There's no way I'm going to miss an opportunity. So before we just jump right in, you're going to see this announcement today at least 4 times. Okay? So don't ask later, why, Reverend Bobby, did we have to see it 4 times? I want to make sure everyone at least tries to wear green next week, right? So, but they are wearing green because every color exists within the colors they're wearing. So they're kind of doing AIF all at once. So make sure you wear green next Sunday. And with that, my friends, let's do it.
Take a look at the person next to you. Say you recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. Come together. Come together. Come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. Come together. Come together. Come together. We come together. Come together. In the name of love. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves me and I love you too. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Oh, lift your voice and repeat after me. Come on, let me hear. We come together. Come together. We come together. We come together. Come together. Come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. We come together. Come together. Come together. In the name of love. Every walk of life. Every creed and color. In kinship we unite. In honor of the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, Namasté, I bow to you. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Hey, hey, hey. And lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. Come together. Come together. Come together. Come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. In the name of love. In the name of love.
So with that, I'm going to invoke good afternoon. First of all, my name is Nikki Freeman. I'm a practitioner here at Namasté, and I'm actually standing in for Jeff Schlick, who is our lead practitioner who will be sharing platform today. But since he is in Sedona, I am here stepping in for him. So picture me about this tall. And with that, I will invite Jesse, our practitioner, to bring forth the candle to remind us of the light that is each of us, which brings forth the unity and oneness to all. So if you will join me in reading our affirmation. There is only one life. This life is God's life. This life is perfect. This life is my life now. Let's pray. So I invite you to take a deep breath. Bring your awareness to this moment. In that breath, recognizing the power and presence of Spirit in, through, and as each moment. For there is no place where God is not. Our life is that life of Spirit, always. So as we come together this day to gather and be reminded of the divine perfection that each of us are. We know that many hands have come together in a labor of love for each of us to partake in the bounties of this service, be it through the power of Spirit's word through the musicians, whether it be connecting on Zoom through the technology that has been so lovingly provided for us, or be it the message of our ministers and practitioners. But what I know is each of us come together with hearts wide open, anchored in this thing called community in life. And so it's with a grateful heart that I say thank you for each of the hands who have so lovingly prepared this space, and for each of you for showing up and simply saying, and so it is. So at this time, I would like to invite our illustrious Board of Trustees, Susan Kaylock, to let us know what's going on.
I invite you all to stand up and say hello to one another, especially those that are new faces. And we'll call you back once the music stops. Namaste. Back in the pews. Terry, don't make my teacher come out. All right, I invite you to join me in reading our vision statement together. We are a joy-filled, loving center of spiritual growth. We create transformative connections and build bridges of unity for an all-inclusive humanity. We are Namaste. So how do we do this? We awaken to the truth of who we are. We realize this truth in our life, we transform our lives, and we repeat the process again, each time going a little deeper. Our power statements: we are a place of connection, healing, and unity. Hashtag we are Namaste. Hashtag this stuff works. Indeed it does. So, if this is your first time, we're talking about Adventures in Faith. It's going on right now. We have small group discussions going into the second week. Each Sunday's talk is tied into the book we are discussing in small groups, The Stained Glass Spirit by Tracy Brown. The theme is Where Many Are One. We're celebrating diversity and inclusion, and we're exploring that topic in our small groups. Each week we'll be wearing a different color. Next week we're going to be wearing green. I invite all of you to go to the fellowship hall, which is right down to the back of the courtyard. For Fellowship Sunday, we have a lot of beautiful treats and spooktacular dishes to take part in. This coming Wednesday, we have our circle. This time it is going to be hosted by Rev. Bobby Becker. You might know her. The guest is Angela Geary. It's October 19th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. We have, Angela will be doing healing breath work. If you've never done any kind of breath work, it is really phenomenal. I encourage you to be a part of this. Breath work is transformative. It uses the power of conscious, connected breathing to take us inside. It works on a cellular level, clearing away what no longer serves while making room for more peace, love, and freedom. I encourage you to be a part of it. It is on Zoom this coming Wednesday, October 19th at 7 p.m. You can register on Eventbrite through our website or the newsletter. And then the following Wednesday, we have Spiritual Soup, hosted by Jeff Schlick, our lead practitioner, and his guest that week is John Dumas, an internationally renowned musician, shamanic astrologer, inspirational teacher, and pioneer in sound healing. Healing through sound is the culmination of John's educational background in the fine arts. He will be sitting together with Jeff in the same space in Sedona on Zoom, presenting meditation, music, discussion. John's going to talk about his instruments and his sound healing sessions. There'll be meditation, astrological readings, and music. Again, it's an Eventbrite registration. You can find the link in the newsletter or on our website. We also offer every weekday morning at 7 a.m. a prayer call with our practitioners. It's a good time for a bit of meditation, a bit of sharing, and a nice way to start your day off. On the fourth Monday at 10 a.m., we have the Safe Place, which is a grief support group. And lastly, our gratitude this week goes out to everyone who is responsible for the wonderful, awe-inspiring celebration we had last week at Seal Beach. We had all our practitioners, our music team, Kong and Des, along with Tina Carson, and the leadership team of COPH. It was a wonderful, wonderful celebration. More to come. As we work through AIF, we'll celebrate November 6th here with Seal Beach. And now, back to Kong.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tonight. I just want to read it for you because I think it's really meaningful.
Sorry about that.
Good afternoon, Namaste. My name is Jeff Schlicht. I am the lead practitioner with Namasté Center for Spiritual Living. I reside in Sedona, Arizona, and I once again adore the topic of adventures in faith, and particularly tonight. I just want to read it for you because I think it's really meaningful, and that is: diversity is inevitable. Inclusion requires intention. What we do and say will result in either inclusion or exclusion. It is up to us, and isn't that the truth? Always on how we step forward in our life. Diversity has always been here, and diversity always will be here. What's diversity? And that is we're all different. In regards to the stained glass window, it's what makes the wholeness of it absolutely beautiful. But that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But collectively, it's how we are and what that window looks like. Diversity is part of it. It is a principle and a factor of it. In fact, that principle in God is we are all that individualized expressions of God. There is no other me than me. And sometimes it's thank goodness, okay, because I can get crazy. That color, that stain of beautiful glass that I am, and as you are, there is no one else like you. Maybe how my piece of glass fits within the whole, but it's not dependent on the diversity of the different colors and the position of where I set within the oneness. That is that inevitability that we are all one. We aren't going to look alike. We don't have the same skin color. We don't have the same backgrounds. We don't all love in the same way. It is opening myself from the top down, opening my heart. How I am here is how I see that diversity in the world. Diversity is inevitable. It's going to be there whether I like it or not, or how I do it, or how I see it or not. The second part is this: inclusion requires intention. So what does that mean? What is that intention? For me, it means that I live a conscious life. Consciousness is a big word and sometimes used in various ways. So I like to keep it simple. I live a life of being awake and aware. So that is my intention, to take out all the automatic cords that I might have in my life. I know myself and I know my relationship with God, and that is a lifelong activity for me. That is my intention, to be awake and aware of what's going on here, maybe untangle what I've stepped through and the experiences I've had that have created my beliefs. My intention is to live awake and be aware of who I am, how I see things. And when I see things, because the world is a mirror of what's going on within myself, then I get to ask myself, if I'm conscious and awake, what is that? That didn't feel right. What was that coming up? And then I get to look at it, track it back, and see what's working for me and see what's not. I get to make choices within my life. What we do and say will result in either inclusion or exclusion. It's up to us. It's up to me. I am of that whole stained glass window. The activity of my life out here could be trying to fix things and so forth and so on, but it's doing nothing within the very core of who I am. That's my real contribution to the collective, or that oneness of that fullness of that stained glass. So even though where I've been, because it's my experience, has created emotions that have created feelings and beliefs within myself, maybe on the differences of how people look, how they are, what their mannerisms are. The list goes on and on. That diversity is already there and it's going to be there. My intention, yes, is to be aware of it, but the awareness needs to lie within me, because there is a duality that we live in. There is a truth of who I am, and that spiritual truth never changes. My experiences might have waned me off of what that truth is. How do I find my way back home in peace, in balance, in love, unconditional love of the differences and the diversity that we see? My beliefs are the gatekeeper of my inclusivity. And when I see things in the world, what moves me, What moves me here is the work that I have to do, or the choice of my work to do. I get to change the belief of that cup and refill it with this truth of love, of peace, of balance, of how that means to me today, because this work is unending for me, and how I see and am in the world based on my experiences. But I also trying to bring myself home for my experiences, my language, my sight, my activity in this world, to have that inclusivity and know that love is the core of each and every individual, no matter how they present themselves, who they are, what their backgrounds are, what their ethnicity is. That truth that is God within me is also within each and every one of us. And just like the word namaste, that truth that lives in me, it's my work to recognize it in each and every individual, not their behaviors, but not to base a generality on what an experience was, because that might have been one person. My work is done within myself, and that's what sets the course of my steps and that infinitude of the love that I already am, but that which I can show within the world. That's always a constant exercise, isn't it? It is for me. All right? I sure appreciate you for allowing me to share, be on the podium in this manner, coming from Sedona. I'm grateful for you. I love each and every one of you. And peace and blessings. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Hiding inside your shell, just trying to convince yourself that it's good enough to be who you really are. You feel like there's no one the same. You keep your soul locked away, and sometimes you feel like you don't belong anywhere. Searching for a hero and a friend, but sometimes you only need to look within. Just believe in you. Listen to that cry. There's a person deep inside telling you that you don't even have to hide. So don't you be afraid of who you really are. The courage in your heart, the courage in your heart. And just believe in you. Learning to love yourself will never be easy to do when you're sensitive in a world that can be so cruel. Deeper inside for the truth, you'll find that a love lives in you, in a strength that you need to pull you through. Searching for a hero and a friend, but sometimes you only need to look within. And just believe in you. Listen to that cry. There's a person deep inside telling you that you don't ever have to hide. So don't you be afraid of who you really are. Just hold on to the truth within, the courage in your heart. And just believe in you. Standing on the outside on your own. Well, life can feel like such a lonely road. But search within your heart and you'll find a home. And the strength that you need to carry on. To carry on. And just believe in you. Listen to that cry. There's a person deep inside telling you that you don't ever have to hide. So don't you be afraid of who you really are. Just hold on to the truth within, the courage in your heart, and listen to that cry. The person deep inside telling you that you don't ever have to hide. So don't you be afraid of who you really are. Just hold on to the truth within, the courage in your heart. And just believe in you.
So, can I get, so that's how much power we have.
Apparently.
Apparently.
Are we
You guys
on?
hear me? Can you hear me through the mic?
Can you hear me through the mic?
We can hear him. Hold on, let's get our other mic on. Let me switch with you for a moment while she gets that one on. Well, different mic. So, yeah, you keep testing. Today, I'm going to invite our practitioners up that know. If you'd come up and take a seat, if you're participating today, which is 5 of you, you know who you are. Come on up and take a seat. Doesn't matter what order. So this Adventures in Faith, it's all about diversity as the form, inclusion as the action. Very different. If you want to be diverse, you have to practice inclusion. And so today, this is a continuation of it. We just had our first week of Adventures in Faith small groups. For those of you participating in the small groups, these are the practitioners that are participating in it that are from Namasté. There's a whole other half of folks over on the Seal Beach side of things. It's exciting. Wenda's one of those folks. See, you're taking a picture right there. So what we're doing today is they're going to be our panel today to respond to some questions. Does that mic work?
Hello?
There it is.
There it
yes.
is.
Yay.
That's good news.
So we're going to be talking a little bit. So first I want to start with what is a practitioner, because you kind of saw earlier Debbie Ann and Julie receive their certificates. And a practitioner, Jackie, what did I say? Okay. You know, it's what it is. Moving on. Sorry, Julie. Or maybe that's great. What has happened is that we're talking about what it means to be a practitioner, both in this AIF and as well as in grander perspective. But a practitioner is one that goes through about 4 years of training. It's 2 years of some prerequisites, and then it's 2 years of intensive study to actually be a practitioner, taking classes we call Science of Mind classes. And at the end of the 2 years, what they do is they both take a test and participate on a panel that has 2 practitioners and a minister. They sit for the panel and they become licensed if they pass the panel. What they do is they both pray. They learn how to pray a form of prayer, which is affirmative prayer. Everyone that takes a class learns that. But they actually learn how to take that prayer and pray with others to coach others to see the truth of each one of you besides themselves. They see that truth even if you can't see it. That's the power in it. And they learn spiritual tools and practices to support that healing presence, that healing action that happens in our community.
This is an international practice by Centers for Spiritual Living to certify these individuals that they indeed can do it. And it is awesome to reach this level of consciousness, to be able to have that confidence in the spiritual process, in the creative process in the individual. Because it's a tremendous power to recognize that and to know that's present in each and every one of us. And they can recognize it in you even when you can't. And that's where the magic happens.
Yes. And your question, John, for the group.
My question is, how is your life different because you're a practitioner?
It's different than ever before because of my awareness, my consciousness, the choices that I now realize that I have to make. And to me, it's my awareness. And it's my awareness of this creative universe that we live in. That there's a law, a principle that I can use, and I use it all the time, whether I'm aware of it or not. So it's to my advantage to be aware of what I'm thinking and believing so that I live a more choiceful life for the better, for my own peace of mind, and that I get to practice that through spiritual mind treatment for others. So I'm going to offer this to Nikki now.
So how is my life different from being a practitioner now? One, I can't let myself off the hook with anything. So if I do experience something that creates upset within me, I can't feign ignorance anymore. I recognize that if there is upset, that if I'm experiencing something that has me emotionally feeling upset, that I can no longer point the finger at anybody else and say, "You made me mad." I get to use that as a signpost to look within me at whatever my belief system may be that's giving me that cue to be upset about whatever's happening. So I sometimes, though, I'm human, so I sometimes, when I'm in upset, like to say that it gives me a false sense of power. So when I'm initially upset, I do like to stand in that false sense of power for a minute, because it lifts me up just for a little bit, and then I have to go, okay, what do I really need to look at? So I would say for me, that's probably the biggest change, is that I am in full responsibility for my life and how I choose to live it. I can remain ignorant, or I can look at what is unfolding in my life and utilize the tools to my advantage. And it gives me my power in my life to make the choices for me.
I would say that since becoming a practitioner, I now know and am aware of the tools that are within my purview to create the life that I want to create. I'm aware. I'm a better communicator. I know that everybody I encounter is divine, is part of the one. And knowing that, I can't ignore it. I just have to live from that. So whoever I encounter, I know that they are truly the face of God, whether that's in prayer or just someone I meet on the street. So now that I'm aware of that, if something comes up for me, I have the tools. I can say, okay, I have emotion. This is from a belief that I have, and how can I uncover or reveal that belief? And it gives me the power to do my inner work consistently. Being a practitioner means I practice every day, all the time, every minute of every day. And it's that practice that motivates me and feeds me and fulfills me.
Thank you, Debbie. For me, being a practitioner has brought my awareness of whose I am and who I am to a different level of sacredness, of walking and talking in that sacredness, knowing what it means. I am called to a higher responsibility of service. And with that service, it brings me to a very humble place. So in my speech, in my day-to-day living, I know that I am that example because I know those tools now. I know my words have power. I know my actions have power. I know my speech and my love has power. And I can see that love in others when they cannot see it in themselves. And that brings me a divine sense of comfort. And it allows me to step back when I want to get angry in self, and when I want to judge from a place of self. It causes me to pause and to know, just as I am that divine being, they are that divine being. So my sense of awareness of service and the divine has just blown the roof off my very being.
Thank you.
What they said. What do I add to that?
My name is Jessie.
My name is Jesse. What can I add to that? Being a practitioner has made me much more aware of my existence in this thing called life and my relationship to everyone and everything around me. So in that relationship, what is bringing me alive? What's sparking my life? What's igniting my life? And how do I bring that to the world and to be of service? So being much more aware of that and being conscious of my actions at any given moment. And when I become aware of that, am I in alignment with life? And if I'm not in alignment with life, because if you ever look at my Twitter feed, you might wonder sometimes. But how do I bring myself back to center and be with Spirit? So that's what being a practitioner is.
Why don't you just keep that? Do you want to finish that question, though? You had another part of that question, John.
The other part of the question is, because of that change in your life, how does that impact the world?
So you get a minute on that one. Okay, because we have another question to ask you. So
Where I've seen myself impact the world is in my work experience. So how do I bring my practitioner self into my day-to-day life, into my work life, and honor that, honor my colleagues, coming from Spirit, and seeing us as Spirit And it's not the things that we do as much as the relationships that we have with one another.
Effect on the world, just me being present. Just my being present.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Just, yeah, no. Just buying, whoever I'm in community with, whoever, it's a ripple effect. So it just keeps on going and going, so that maybe my positive impact or how I react or treat or respond to any situation, hopefully will have that ripple effect on other people. Kind of that pay it forward type mentality.
And we are taught that we are practitioners 24/7. It's not just a Sunday gig. We are always practitioners. So how I am in each situation of life is as a practitioner, and so as I elevate my consciousness, I am hopefully elevating and raising the consciousness of those around me.
Everything they said, for sure. But, there's a collective consciousness. That's what we learn here and begin to understand that that's why each one of us matter, and what our thoughts are is there is a collective consciousness of all thought that has ever been thought. So by us raising our awareness and aligning ourselves in spiritual principles of love and peace and wholeness, that is going to raise the consciousness level of all. So.
Just hold on to that, Candace. Is this on? Yeah, God, now I can hear myself. So we're in the middle of AIF, Adventures in Faith, and as we've spoken, we picked this book and we study that book, and the book that we've chosen is all about diversity and inclusion. And by the way, not an easy book for any community to do, because it means that, folks are coming in from all different experiences and exposures to what all this might mean. And in some cases, people have more, and in some cases, people have minimal. As practitioners, you've been charged with facilitating these classes. Might be the first time you've taught a class around diversity, but it all goes back to spiritual principle, right? So what have you learned in both preparing for the class and facilitating the class this first week that you'd like to share? And we'll give you about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, okay?
Again, it's all about bringing our awareness to something. For me, it's, wow, am I excluding someone by what I have said, what I have done, or am I being truly inclusive? My words matter. That's what we understand in this philosophy, is that our words matter. So it has really opened me up. And that's the beauty of being in this philosophy and community, is that we get to open up to new ideas, explore them a lot more deeply, and we do it by creating community and loving one another and giving each other that respect and ability to talk about, what our beliefs are. So, handing it off to you now.
I think the biggest thing for me that I have learned is, one, I don't have to have the answer. And letting go of the need to have the answer as the facilitator. That for me, I discovered was a big fear. That what if I wouldn't be enough, I wouldn't know enough, I wouldn't have the right answer. And the truth is, I don't need to. I am facilitating. I am bringing myself as open and as centered and as grounded in spiritual truth as I can be in each moment. And I know that if I come from that place, whatever else is to be revealed will be revealed by somebody, and then we get to explore it. But I don't have to have the answer, because we're all learning. And that for me was such a huge relief.
So for me personally, creating the curriculum and now facilitating, there a lot of issues arise around inclusion, and I realized that even though I would say I've always been an inclusive person, I have to look at, have I really, and have I set the intention for inclusion? And have I always been in action around inclusion? I consider myself an ally in all diverse communities, no matter what they are. But now I need to live from that, and that intention that I've set for myself. And Tracy Brown said to us in one of our meetings that we're not teaching the book, we're facilitating open discussions about diversity, inclusion, and equity. So I'm moving forward from that.
As well as being on the team to do the curriculum, that in itself brought up a bunch of stuff in me and within the group, and I had to stop and pause and look at the backstory. What was the backstory of these feelings? What were the backstory of these words? And understand that others have backstories. So it allows me to operate in a space of grace, because there is a backstory. And having experienced that first week of, this is my first time teaching diversity, and it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. I see the conversation is flowing smoothly. There may be some hiccups within people, and just letting them know it is okay. It is okay. We're doing this thing together, and that's the biggest thing. We're doing it together.
This is probably one of the most challenging conversations that I've ever been asked to facilitate or been a part of. And the vulnerability that each and every person that's participating has to bring to that conversation, their willingness to be vulnerable, and to also at the same time create a safe space for everyone and to care for everyone is so important. For myself, I know that in my life, I've made mistakes. I've said the wrong thing, either unconsciously because I didn't know or because I was just being stupid. And also giving within that, one of the things Tracy Brown says is you get a learner's permit. So you get an opportunity to practice and learn in a safe space. And that's the important thing that we're giving to all of us that are in this conversation, to have this difficult conversation, to have this difficult discussion.
Well, these are your practitioners. The power in working collaboratively with Seal Beach has been truly an opportunity for growth for all of us. It's been wonderful to work with Seal Beach in that everyone's excited to come forward and to try. Oh my goodness, just try, right? Sometimes that's the one thing that's in the way. And to get to work with Reverend John here is truly a privilege. He's been outstanding.
And likewise with Reverend Bobby and this beautiful community. And imagine that we could all have the courage that these folks have and the willingness to step into the difficult conversations. Imagine a community full of people like that, that had the willingness to be vulnerable, to put their hearts out there, and to listen without judgment and acceptance. And for me, that's the way forward into the next iteration of who we all have come here to be. Here's our examples of who we have come here to be. It's beautiful, and thank you all.
It is. Thank you, practitioners, for doing this, and thank you for coming here today.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys.
We're a million volts in a pool of light, electricity in the room tonight. Born from fire, sparks flying from the sun. Yeah, I hardly know you, can I confess? I feel your heart beating in my chest. If you come with me, tonight's gonna be the one. 'Cause your faith and no fear for the fight. You pull hope from defeat in the night. There's an image of you in my mind. Could be mad, but you might just be right. Are the people you've been waiting for, out of the ruins of hate and war. Army of lovers never seen before. We are the people you've been waiting for. We are the people of the open hand. The streets of Dublin to Notre Dame. We'll build it better than we did before. We are the people we've been waiting for. Broken bells in a broken church. Heart that hurts is a heart that works from a broken place. That's where the victory's won. Your faith. Whoa. Hey. That's where the victory's won. And no fear for the fight. You pull hope from the feet in the night. There's an image of you in my mind. Could be mad, but you might just be right. We are the people we've been waiting for, out of the ruins of hate and war. Army of lovers was never seen before. We are the people we've been waiting for, waiting for. We are the people of the open mind. Streets of Dublin and Notre Dame. We'll build it better than we did before. Oh, we are the people we've been waiting for, waiting for. We are the people we've been waiting for. We are the people we've been waiting for.
You know, Reverend John gave me that song, and it's Bono, Martin Garrix, and The Edge. And it starts with, we're a million volts in a pool of light. Electricity in the room tonight, born from fire, sparks flying from the sun. The lyrics are, we are the people we've been waiting for. Out of the ruins of hate and war, army of lovers never seen before. We are the people we've been waiting for. We'll build it better than we did before. We are the people we've been waiting for. Powerful song. Thank you, Rev John. It's a great song. Loved it. Thank you for doing that, Kong. It is the time of our conscious giving. It's the time we give to this community that continues to give as it shows up as the face of God. It's the place and space that we show up that continues to provide the very things that we continue to do. It is the place I learned to give of myself, of my time, my treasure, and my talent. And in this movement, what's been beautiful about it is I give because I'm so spiritually fed by the very thing I do. And so I give each month to this community called Namasté. And in that gratitude for that, I learn about the abundance in my life of such amazing people, amazing experiences and events. And even when I feel low, my world is still beautifully abundant. And that's where I give from. So I'd like to invite you to read with me our affirmation, this short sort of prayer that allows us to anchor into the gift that we give today. So just take that gift that you give today. If you've already given it, beautiful. And if you're giving it today, just place that gift on your heart, which is really you. That's what you're giving. I know sometimes when you hit that heart, it just makes noise. So read this with me. I am one with the unity of all life. I give from this place of oneness. My abundance is anchored in that oneness, and I honor that oneness of others. We affirm this is true, and so it is. So you haven't seen this announcement today. So can anyone tell me what color you should wear next week? Oh, you guys are so, I almost heard you. What was that? Green. Yeah, that's it. Make sure we wear green. Oh, you kind of wore green today, Lorenzo. You're kind of ahead of the game. So he's in preparation for next week. We're going to honor that right now, right? Exactly. So with that, I'm also going to thank some service teams, but I'm going to invite our practitioner who's here today to come up and grab the candle. And you'll blow that candle out after I read some thank yous that I have on my list today. So first of all, I want to thank Reverend John for joining me here and our collaboration. Our music director, Kong, with Dez and Lorenzo. And I want to thank Gemini over here on streaming. By the way, I know the music's good because she sits over there and dances, and I get to watch her. So thank you for that. And Bird, where did Bird? There's Bird on our sound. Jeff Schlick, our practitioner for the day, supported by Nikki Freeman. Minister support is Jesse Keeler, who's up here in his handsomeness. Susan Calick was our Board of Trustee today, standing in for Lori as she had our service yesterday. And Julie Geno and Janine Cochran, welcome team with Carlos online. Thank you, Carlos. And I also want to do a special thank you to Ramon and Janine for these beautiful flowers and balloons. Wow, it takes a village, doesn't it? I'm telling you. Fellowship is, thank you. And there's our fellowship team out here, Rowan and Greg? Why did that name just? Layla is out there in her little small wonderfulness. My sister Tangi provided some of the food. She's at a wedding today. I also want to, while we're here, just thank our community for supporting the memorials that have been here the last 2 Sundays. We've lost 2 amazing community members, and their legacy lives in each one of us, and so grateful for that. And I want to thank all those that have supported that effort. So with that candle, so we're going to go ahead and blow out this flame. See, we opened the circle and we took the light in. We intentionally lit this candle as the light of who we are. So now what Jesse will do is in ritual carry that candle out, which we are now that light. We have now been lit by this day. So when we leave today, as you saw from our practitioners that were sitting up here, that we are the light. We are the people we've been waiting for. So we get to carry that light into the world and be that compassionate, graceful, loving, but speaking truth, especially around diversity and inclusion. Let us do that this week. Let us practice and make mistakes all over the place, because that is what we do. So let me just switch over to my mic, because we're going to do, did you? We lost the next
Thank you.
Do I have a mic. Now, before we say thank you, I want you to notice one thing. Did I look upset? I could be. Yes. And just the way it appears not. This is the practice, isn't it? I couldn't have had a better example of practice. It just the way it appears, which is whatever, and just the way it appears not, which is possibly no sound in the room. But the point of the matter is, this is the practice. That's what we get to do. Just the way it appears and just the way it appears not. Now, just in gratitude, because right now I'm so grateful I have a mic. I just am. It's the little things, really. So in the little things, what happened today that you can be so grateful for as we go forward? What happened in your life today? You should have something you are grateful for today. The person standing next to you, something you heard today, your best friend, your partner, anything, person, place, or thing. I want you to feel that in your toes. Allow that energy to move up your calves. Give me some action here, folks. Up through your thighs, up through all your, yes, special parts. Your torso, special, yes. Your neck into your head. And it's building that gratitude. And with everything you have, share it with me. Thank you, life.
I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive with the Spirit, alive with the Spirit, alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive, yo, alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive with the Spirit, alive with the Spirit, alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive, yo, alive with the Spirit of, oh. I am alive with the Spirit of God. Let me hear you. Alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive, yo. Alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive, yo. Alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive, yo, alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive, yo, alive with the Spirit of God.
Have a great week. Namaste. Thank you for joining us.
alive. Am alive, alive with the Spirit of God.
I accidentally kept it going by hitting a D.
I was like, we can't. Yeah, let's keep this
Yeah, you were like, what?
pulse our way